Let's see how it works. We got 1 thumbs up, 0 eyeballs, but they pop up later. Missy's here.
There's a lag. How come I can't do that? Not on my iPhone.
Coming live from a top secret, undisclosed location, meeting with. If I told you who I was meeting with, you wouldn't believe me.
Nope. Big people. Big people.
It's all right. It's all right, Trump or Mr. President. Just stay back over there.
Is it one of those people that was like that big guy that had elephantitis of the torso?
Elephantitis of the torso.
The big. He's talking about that big mother at the Hound rendezvous. The big guy.
No.
The one I said I didn't want to talk
over at Reynolds Creek. Yeah.
No, I no, not him. This is I can't disclose it yet.
Nope.
But
I don't know why.
It might turn into something huge. I'll have to sign Benny and Chris to a long-term contract.
NDA.
No, I don't care if you'll have to participate because they won't take me unless they have you guys. They want all of us.
You shouldn't give us that bargaining chip up front.
I'm negotiating for a long-term contract.
Nice.
So what's going on, guys? What have you been doing, Chris? Tell us some dove hunting stories.
Oh, boy. Well, last week, my first week home, I had all these plans. I'm going to clean my shop. I'm unloading my trailer because my trailer has been packed for literally 2 months. And I couldn't even leave it outside. I would pull it in my shop. So it took up my shop. So I unloaded my trailer. I was going to clean my shop. All this great stuff. It didn't happen. I got my trailer unloaded. Tuesday, we go elk hunting over the counter. We decide to get on the motorcycle, run the Heber, and go eat. We go to this Heber, Arizona. Yeah, Heber Obergard.
Where do you eat over there, Chris?
Well, we were going to go to that Red Onion or whatever that place is. I didn't know they was closed Monday and Tuesday. So we end up going to this pizza place there, Gigi's Pizza or something, really good pizza. And we found this house elk hunting, and it was for sale. So I emailed the realtor, and she's like, "Oh, meet me at 3." And it's already like 1:30 in Heber, and we're on my motorcycle, and there's road construction, and it's going to rain. So we get on there, and I'm like, she makes me wear my helmet. But when I wear my helmet, I feel invincible. And I do a lot of fast, stupid things. And I warn her that if I have my helmet on, I'll live forever. Everybody should know this. So we get it. They have a pilot car. So there's a 3-mile line of cars. So once we break that pilot car and they get us on the other side, I'm just, kind of stupid stuff. We make it. Go look at this log cabin right up the road from my house. Just check it out. And want too much money. Concrete's heaving up. It was an old forestry cabin they moved. They had bought and moved over here. Really cool, but not for $200,000. Maybe $100,000. And then I'd go in there and cut everything out and put footers. And then Wednesday, we went bear hunting. Me and Cody Lynn. She played hooky from work.
Did you find a unit that wasn't closed?
Well, 3B is open, and it was closing. It was the last day. The only day I get to hunt is the last day of 3B. We go run a bear. She drops me off. I do free casting. We're breaking in the 200 and the 300. So we have each other on the GPS, which was really cool. So nice to have somebody to drive for you, because then I'll walk 100 miles. I'll ride 3,000 miles if I have somebody I hate going back. It's horrible. I never turn around. If I have to turn around and go back, I'm miserable. So I just walk. I mean, I bet you I walked 6 miles, and the dogs had started something. And I had one dog go back to where we dropped him. So she went and got him, and I just kept walking. Then they're going into another unit that's closed. So we go cut him off. You see it on, I think you see it on the video. I can hear my dogs. I'm like, what are they doing? They're turning around. I'm hoping they go back to my unit. And I'm looking, and I can't see nothing. All of a sudden, I see a bear go up a tree about 50 yards away. And I guess the ferns and everything, like 4 foot deep, you can't see nothing. I'm like, there's a bear right there. Went up the tree, and we jump out and go over there, take some pictures, and let the dogs tree a little bit. And I grab my bow. I'm like, yeah, go over there. And I'm like, oh, crap. I'm in the wrong unit. I can't even shoot it.
Oh, that's
so
right.
we just took some pictures. Yeah, we just took some pictures and let it go. And then I made a video on my way out, and I kind of talked some smack. And I say, hey, all you people who say you can't pull a dog, and if you pull a dog off a tree, they're worthless, treat the bear. Ran that bear, trailed that bear. Vodka, my older female dog, who hadn't been out for a year, trailed that bear, made this run. It was probably about 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 mile run. The way up a dirty hill around, made the run dirty. They all made it. And pulled them off. I said, let's go. And even Conan says, as soon as you said, let's go, dirty, all your lead dogs turned and said, let's go. And I put on that video, I could go up the road, rig another one, free cast, and they'll still chase it. You know, you got good dogs. You don't have to let them chew on something. Now, does chewing on something help? Absolutely. You know, but
do you think that chewing on something will keep them tighter on the tree?
I think it keeps them more interested. Just like a bird dog. I just dealt with bird dogs. I'll get into the whole bird dog thing. Same thing. If you're just shooting and you're missing and they're running around, they're just going to wear out, you know, and they kind of lose interest. So they gotta have something, you know, whether you go coon hunting even, or you got a barn cat that's running around, you let them chase and tree and they see it, they'll catch those around the house. Around my dad's house, they catch some barn cats all the time, you know, but then they're mean. They're feral, mean cats. So I think it helps. I think it gets them interested.
Gives them a little more intensity on the track to get some caught.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, but I don't know. When you're chasing a lady and she says no, that kind of makes you want to chase her more. So maybe if you don't bite it, let them chew on something, maybe they just want it so bad they keep chasing. But all my dogs have chewed at something once or twice, and I think if your dogs get to chew on something once or twice a year, if you're running that much, I think, you know, I think you're all right. I think once a year is all right. But I don't have no problem with my dogs. I pull them off. I go to the next rig.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they don't say, we didn't get to chase. They all tree. Yeah. They all tree hard. So then I walked back. When I went to go in, I found some lobster mushrooms. So on my way back, I picked them all and I cooked them when I got home. Made my old lady a elk burger. So that was fun. Thursday, I did something Thursday too that took me all day. I just didn't. I was going to edit a video, the bear video.
Oh.
And I did something Thursday. And then Friday, my Verizon phone's off. And I'm like, and there's a $1,600 bill. Jeez. So I go to Verizon, 9 o'clock when they open. 4 hours I'm at Verizon.
Were you angry?
I wasn't happy, but I had a kid there.
Did you show your anger?
I showed my frustration.
Oh.
And I tried my hardest not to say the F word, but it slipped out a couple of times because they had a phone number on there they were charging me for the whole year I've had this, and they wouldn't take it off. I'm like, because it was attached to a phone. I told them the whole story. And we turned in a bunch of phones and should have got credit. They didn't. They were charging us for these phones for a year. So it's like, you know, $1,000 worth of stuff. So, but he got it taken care of for me. The kid, like, vigilantly stayed on the subject. Didn't just say, I'll figure it out later like the manager did last time.
Yeah.
And I was supposed to go talked to my CPA about starting a C4 and a C3.
What
And
do you
I already have
what are you starting those for?
probably the Dog Alliance thing,
The Arizona Houndsmen, or
AWDA,
what's that?
Arizona Working Dog Alliance.
Is that going to? You think that'll eventually be affiliated with that national thing?
I wouldn't mind helping them out, but I don't want to deal with idiots. I don't I
Why are
don't
you
want
here with
somebody.
us then?
See you guys later. I gotta go.
What are you doing here?
I'm used to it because I deal with myself enough.
Brainwashed idiots.
I don't want the National Hound Association, whatever, to come in and say we're the best. Like I don't want no narcissistic people in there. I don't want people thinking that they're better than everybody in there. You got to have somebody in there, you know what I mean, that's on the fence. They got on the fence.
You're asking a lot.
For a hound association or from a houndsman, it's
But
almost like
it that almost goes against what the personality of someone is that would be willing to do something like that.
you want to subcontract it out on a neutral level to where every state has their hound association or associations, and they kind of, so like say, let's just take Arizona. Say there's 3 organizations that deal with hounds or dogs. Those guys kind of need to get together, which is asking a lot again, and say, hey, we don't want this taken away from us. And that's why I said Working Dog Alliance, because I don't want to. It's not just the hounds. It's the bird dogs are going to get. It's any other, the coyote dogs are going to get. You can't hunt a lion, but they're going to take coyotes next. Whatever else that you can run dogs on every state, and then it's almost like you have to have a neutral person that's not in the. It's like your editor. He don't know nothing about hounds and mules, but he can put stuff together because you bring it to him. And I think all these states need to bring it to this National Hound Association and say, and you can have an ambassador to that talks to this neutral person and says, this is how, listen, I've talked to everybody here and we're kind of, this is what we want. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think you should put one personality into it.
You're looking for somebody to find common ground and represent everyone.
That's what I think. And they can't have a prejudice against hunting or not hunting. It's almost like they need to be. Are you posting comments?
Yeah.
Brett? It's way up high. I don't. Oh, never mind.
Is it too high for you?
No. My thing was scrolled up. My bad.
Well, I hate it when your thing's scrolled up.
I hate it too. That's why I got 9 kids. So I don't know. That's my opinion. I'm nobody. I don't post a lot. I actually posted this one and said, this is what it looks like when you let a small bear go. And I had a lot of people. I was in Waterburger in Phoenix today. I just came up from Phoenix. A guy I had my bird dogs and Stinker in my truck, pulling my horse trailer because I had to pull some stuff up. And I walk in and he goes, I walk into Waterburger and he's behind me. He goes, are you one of them guys that shut them units down up there? I said, no, I'm one of them guys that's on Facebook showing a picture of a small bear I let go saying, this is how you do it. But I mean, this guy was kind of mad too. And he's not, he hunted with BJ Hansen. You remember, you know who that is?
No. Benny?
Steve Smith would know him.
No.
Because he did some hunting down there in Tano. And, I've heard of him. He's old now. Probably someone you'd probably want to interview too. A no-namer.
Cool.
But I've heard of him. I've heard a lot of people talk about him. But, yep. So it's just, it bleeds all the way down in there where you walk in to a place. And he knew Jesse Poteet, a guy I know. So, small world.
But did he know Benny? That's what I want to know.
I didn't ask him. I could have been an undercover, so I don't bring up his name.
Got to keep Benny hidden. What's up, Benny? What have you been doing besides crushing gravel?
No, I'm not to that point yet. We're building a pit from scratch, and I'm just living on a stinking blade.
Blue
But
topping.
well, we're not blue topping. We're trying to make things a little bit roughed in and a little more level so the trucks don't flip over sideways. But I was there. I had not have been working 11 hours a day, and then Friday I said, "Hey, I'm leaving out here early." You are? I said, "Yep." My contract says 4 hours on Friday, so I guess I'll put in 8 hours. But after that, I'm out. And I went to the mountains and sat around and enjoyed myself. It was raining.
Didn't sound right.
And,
Just rest and relaxation.
oh gosh, yes, and so it was. I think
Did your
I
did
slept
your
10
first
hours.
wife go with you?
She absolutely did, and I slept 10 hours a night, all 3 nights, and I haven't done that for decades. So, but it was in the upper 30s, lower 40s at night, and I put a fan in the window and soup it up and speed it across my bed.
Just laid there like that. Just let it.
Oh,
The
just
hair, his hair just in the
That
wind.
little mustache going.
His back
you
hair.
know,
His
I used
back hair
to
is
have a
flowing in the wind.
I used to have a saltwater aquarium, a reef tank, and a lot of those corals, those real soft corals, they'll wave like that, like grasses sometimes in the current, and that's exactly what my hair was doing every night. It was good. My wife would throw some covers my way and kick them back.
Well,
Nice.
sounds like a nice place.
And I
Yeah.
was up there for property. Still looking for a place in the mountains where I can just park my camper during the summer and not have to pay everybody else.
How is that? Is that property up there expensive?
Oh yeah, it's out of sight, Brett. There we've passed up some in the years past that we thought was expensive, and within 6 months discovered that it was really pretty cheap, and it was too late.
Yeah.
So we, I was told to wait a year on some property for 20,000 an acre because the interest rates were going up and that'll drive the prices down and all of this. And some woman in her 80s went over there and bought every bit of it and paid the price. So back to square one. But that's what I did. I drove around looking for places and looking for property and just had a good time. And
Did you take your razor?
no, I left it at home. I've got to change the oil after last weekend in Arizona and running the snot out of it going all the way down there. I need to take that breakout oil out.
Cool. Sounds like fun. I
Like
what I do this week. Oh, I went out. I'll have a video coming. Pretty cool video.
you
That's good.
won't tell me what it is.
I won't tell anybody what it is. It's top
No.
secret. And then I trailed a fox. I'm almost 100% sure it was a fox. I never seen the fox. And they started it like a lion. They trailed it like a lion. But it went underneath a little bitty tree. And I can almost envision that little fox just running out in front of the dogs when they'd start to get close, lay up, because they can't trail him very fast in that desert. And then they come up and they start getting close, and then he'd take off again. And I had those two running walkers with me. I mean, those dogs that supposed to catch lots of bobcats, and they couldn't move that track very fast. So, but it was fun. The dogs did good. I had 8 dogs, and I had 7 of them barking and moving and working the track and helping each other. So it was all right. It didn't hurt me. And it was in a good spot. I was on my mule. I was way up on the side of a desert mountain. So it was all right.
I'm
Fun.
big like you guys now.
You do what?
I made myself bigger.
You don't look bigger. You look smaller.
No?
How's this?
I didn't want it. My camera's way on. I have a huge desk in my this. I'm at home. I have an office trailer just for.
How's that?
Oh God. Oh now we're. Oh,
Throw out the Chris.
what it? I was real small. But I can go, I guess, bigger.
You're cut in half.
Yeah. How about that?
Okay.
I
What
gotta
else?
stop.
Social media. Chris
Social
wanted to
media.
talk about social media.
Well,
Yes, it's true.
there.
There's a question there. Can foxes? He heard foxes climb trees. Is that correct?
Yeah,
Gray foxes.
I've treed
So
a few.
they climb trees. They can climb a chain link fence like it's not even there. That yes, gray foxes are just like cats.
I've treed a couple of gray foxes. So I tell you
Before
what, if I could run them and catch them, I would run them. Because I'll guarantee you, a dog's not going to leave a lion track to run a fox. At least my dogs won't. But if I don't have anything else to run, might as well run a fox. I
What
don't
if
know.
they're running that fox and that lion, or the lion and that fox cross
That's
in
why I
front
said
of
they
them?
won't leave a lion track for the intensity. I mean, and I always joke around and say I get trashy just like those dogs, because you can tell once you go along for a long time, and those dogs will trail a fox, and man, I get trashy. I want to make that into a lion, but the intensity is just not there. It's not there,
Yeah,
because then when you do hit that good lion track and you see that intensity, it's just different. It's just like, wow, that's a lion. Right, Benny? Right, Mr. Benny?
absolutely right.
It's just different. But, for the last 5 years, I've been in a pretty not real good country. So I've had to
If
just make do.
if a dog if a dog strikes a cold fox trail, cold fox track, they'll sit down and say, "Ooh." But if a dog strikes a cold lion track, they have a quiver in that long drawn out ball.
When they're running a fox, when they strike a fox, they're just, them damn things are just lollygagging.
Since
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
I got it. I got it. Hold on.
I want people to guess.
How big is this bear?
How big do you think this bear
Ooh, he's
is?
real big right there.
Now, this is a crazy picture that I did not edit.
You-
And I get a lot of people say that's a good looking bear. And I think it's because the space on the ears. But
But his ears still look pretty big.
they still look big. And I remember Clay Newcomb one time said the biggest bear I shot had huge ears, but a big body. Just didn't, how some guys look like they're 12 years old and they're 30.
I can't
350.
I can't help it.
Axel says 350. Axel has some news for us tonight, too. We can't forget to give him his limelight.
Give him his 10 minutes.
How big do
We
you
need
guys think this
this.
bear is?
We need to give some of this swamp water from Louisiana.
Benny, you're not going to get out of hand drinking that stuff, are you?
Man, I was going to bring mine, but I was scared because I'll start drinking that butterscotch. And I wish I would have tried that apple pie.
Oh, I
I,
got
I have a whole jug in there. 90. Sonny says 90. Oh, look at that.
Hey, they put us up in one of these really, really nice motels. It's got bottles of wine. It's got, I can't even say the name of that. It's got a refrigerator full of all kinds of stuff. It's got a big old, like a tray full of all these fancy snacks.
120 maybe. It is a boar. If you look, you can see his nuts. That bear, I've had people do the same thing. Oh, it's a 200-pound bear because he has a big head, I think. And that bear was about 120 pounds at the most, 120 pounds. When I looked, and when it went up the tree, I call it inchworm. When they inchworm up that tree where their backs kind of arch and you can tell it's a small bear because a big bear, you know, it's like an old fat girl. They don't have the flexibility, and those little bears go up that tree, and they really bunch up and climb that tree quick. Those big bears, they kind of, you know, real stiff going up those trees. As soon as I seen it go up that tree, I knew it was a small bear. I said, "Oh, there's a bear," and I was like, "Oh, I think it's a small one." So short nose and wide head. Yeah, it's going to be a good bear, I think, if people leave it alone.
Looked like he's pretty neat colored, wasn't he?
He had a red stripe down his back, you know. But people would have shot that bear. People would have shot it. I wouldn't have shot it. I mean, it just beautiful head on it, but it looks so much different on a picture. You take a good picture, but if you look at the head to the body, he has a huge head, and his body's really itty bitty. He's all curled up on a little branch, you know, and that tree's only, I don't know, 16, 18 inches. Wasn't a big tree either. But I did do some dove hunting. Cody Land won the competition and won a belt buckle for the skeet shoot.
Dove shooting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, social media.
Social media. Wait, should we let Axel tell us what?
Axel, do you have a link?
Send him a fresh one.
You get 5 minutes.
He should have a link. You got to have a link, Axel.
Should have saved it. Social media. You know, there's talk about some hound dog media going around where all these media people get together. And at first I thought it was, I don't know, He-Man She-Hater Club or something. Or you had to be part of a special group. I don't know what it's going to be. But, you know, everybody gets together and kind of be kind of cool if all these podcasts and YouTube people get together, kind of fresh up what everybody's doing and talking about, you know. But I don't know. You get in a pissing contest sometimes, these people, and me and Brett have already heard that we're not famous in some people's clique.
I don't have Axel's email. Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I've seen that, and then I've seen the different things that's going on, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not even going to.
I think there's two kinds of social media. There's people who put out the content for hounds, hunters, and then there's people who post on their personal stuff that do the whole, it's my First Amendment, I don't give a crap, we should be able to post what we want. And I think that's kind of a idiotic way to think of things.
Chris, that's a narcissist. That's a narcissistic attitude. Because it doesn't matter what it does to everybody else as long as I get to shine.
Yeah. You know, I think I post one or two bears, or sometimes if I have someone with me, I'll post it because they're going to post it. And if you don't post it, there's people who post stuff. I know a certain woman will post it and not post what's in the tree, just post her dog's treeing. And people were like, basically, you're full of crap. There's nothing in the tree, but I'll guarantee you she has something in the tree. Her dogs just don't.
I don't think it hurts to show something in a tree. I mean, that's kind of going to an extreme. Show a bunch of dogs barking on the ground. I could probably put a rope around a teddy bear and pull it up in a tree and jiggle it around. My dogs would.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but I think you show what's in the tree, but I don't think it does any good to go ahead and show it, you know, bang flop.
Falling out of the tree.
I don't think that does much good. I don't think that serves any purpose, you know.
Nope.
Hey. We got, look who's available. Look at him. He even got a haircut. Did you get a haircut?
Oh. Yep.
You look like a brand new man.
Looks like you got them all cut, matter of fact.
He did. Look, are you going bald?
No.
Yes, right there. I see a bald spot right on the back.
Oh, that's a story right there.
So what kind of information do you have for us?
Well, I did my hunter's ed.
Oh, you did. Cool.
Yep.
Nice.
So you're ready to rock and roll this winter. When can you get a license?
So I'm just waiting for the ATM to work at the bank.
It's broken.
Yeah.
Mine breaks too. Just usually breaks when I don't have any money in it.
That's when mine's broke. I was gonna say that's when mine's broke.
Huh. So you're gonna go down and get your cash and go buy you a license, and
Yep.
you're gonna slay you a deer.
Mhm. Hopefully.
What are you gonna shoot it with? I forgot what weapon you owned.
He's gonna
I don't want.
borrow one.
Yeah,
You got
borrow a 300 blackout.
How's that
That's
sound,
awful.
Chris? You're the weapon expert.
Doesn't that sound? That's awful big for them little baby deer over there.
Save some meat.
Well, up here our deer are pretty big, so
Wait, you guys use something bigger than a 22 Magnum for deer?
yeah.
Oh, that's daytime hunting. Never mind. I'm
Yeah.
confused.
The spotlight. The spotlight. You can use a
Oh,
22 Magnum.
yeah, yeah. I forgot. Oh,
Well,
boy.
cool. So are you excited?
Yes.
Have you been doing some scouting? Do you have some deer scouted out?
I mean, most of the time they come in the backyard, so
That's not fair.
It is. It is.
It is.
It's just like that beef we've got in the freezer. My grandkids tell you,
He-
we spent all that time feeding that beef, and now it's that beef's turn to feed us.
You're supposed to be going out there sneaking through the woods, all camoed up, and sneak up on
I
one
don't-
of those
I don't
unsuspecting
Well,
have
that's only-
camouflage.
That means you got to stay real still. The 300 blackout is a 223 necked up. Wow, that's a lot of
Cool.
200. Yeah, that'll work.
So is it what am I trying to say here? Is it doe, either sex, buck, deer?
Up here we have to have a permit for antlerless. So
So is that what you're going to get?
yeah, it doesn't really matter what I'm going to shoot at, as long as it's meat.
Right,
Man.
Tim.
I think Tim Brink would agree with you right there.
Eating is eating.
Eating is eating. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter if it's fair or not.
That's a bunch of outlaws. Watch out.
Yeah.
Got undercover game wardens watching us.
Yeah.
Let
How
them
am
walk.
I can't get you guys on the big time if you keep acting like outlaws.
Well, you're not an outlaw until you get caught.
Mm.
It's
Then you're an outlaw.
alleged.
Allegedly, he's an outlaw.
So, Dylan, have you got somebody that's going to hunt with you? Have you found a hunting partner that is going to go alongside you and spend a little time with you too?
Yeah, one of my friends.
And does this friend have some experience, or tell us about your friend?
He's a Vietnam veteran.
Oh man,
No.
Has he been hunting though? I mean, is he going to help you gut the deer and cut it up and everything like that?
Yep.
Good. Good.
Yeah. Well, you're
What
going to
else?
have to keep us up to date with your progress.
We want pictures though. We don't want you coming in here just flapping your jaw, telling big stories. We want proof.
And you have to
All right.
bite the liver or the heart. My kids, I made them bite the liver.
Put it on, yeah, and you got to have your buddy take a picture of you with that liver and it in your mouth and the juice coming out the sides of your mouth. Got to
hello,
do it.
beautiful.
Don't just nod your head. Say, yes,
Yeah.
that's what I'm
He's
going to
like,
do.
Yes, I
Change my email.
We won't
Good
ever hear
job,
from
Dylan.
him again.
Hey, you got the
Well,
first step done. Just keep going.
This weekend I'll be going out shooting, so
Nice.
I can get to feel how the rifle is. And
That's a
everything.
good idea.
That is a good.
And last weekend I had my birthday, so
How old are you?
Now
How
No,
old
no.
are you, Dylan?
21.
21.
There you go.
man.
21.
21. Time to break out the moonshine.
No, stay away from that, Dylan.
I had
You'll
moonshine
grow
once.
up and end up like Benny.
Hey,
Moonshine
let's
was all
put.
right.
You got to post Sonny's comment. He's giving some words of wisdom.
Where's Sonny's comment? Oh, just be let me pull it up here. Just be careful what is behind where you're shooting, Dylan. Don't want to off a neighbor while they are making mac and cheese in their kitchen. That's probably
Well,
it's not a good
for Sonny,
idea.
who doesn't really
Right.
know me that well, I live on 80 acres, so behind the target is just woods. So
Just lots of trees.
Hey, a mac and cheese neighbor is still a mac and cheese neighbor.
Yeah. And don't be mad if you put ketchup in it. 'Cause I put ketchup in my mac and cheese. Or
And
Taco Bell sauce.
he probably put sour cream too.
I do. Hey, we got, you know who we got coming on? Louisiana Honey. He said right there, even 12-year-old elk tacos. I didn't see nobody complaining, and nobody died.
Man, I ate them. I ate like 6 of
You
them.
ate a lot of them.
My wife said, she said, "Did you see the date on those?"
Somebody said they seen her eat one. Louisiana wife said she ate one. Maybe she pretended.
Here you go, guys. Here's some bear footage.
See how little that bear was no bigger than no dog. See how they inchworm up like
You want
that?
to see it again?
Do it one more time.
Is that it? That's a huge tree. My
That's a
gosh.
big tree. I don't have
Dang.
trees that tall.
He didn't
Oh,
even
there's
make
one
it
like
like
that
a
in my
branch. He was just
backyard.
like that, just holding on to. He got tired, said, "I ain't going any higher."
Gosh dang. Inchworming up.
Yep, exactly like you said.
We got I don't know why is Louisiana hunting. Did he jump on you? He's over there commenting.
We
We
got
got
to
to give
hear.
him. He has
He's
a
got a
story too.
story.
So, Dylan,
Well,
you done
Dylan,
with your story?
Dylan, we
Yeah.
might have to get rid of you, but bring us some pictures.
I will.
Shooting.
he needs to post it, and even if you just do a little bit of filming in a blind or put the sneak approach or whatever you're doing, take some video, take some footage, so that along we need a story. Run your flappers and video proof.
Backup. Yep.
I want to get you guys' opinion on this. I'm thinking about making videos for YouTube.
Well, let me tell you a little story.
You just rabbit hold so big.
Come here, Dylan. Let's
Run,
talk.
run, run. Oh, man. I just wanted to do some videos, and then I had lunch with Brett. And now I get yelled at because I'm stupid and didn't do my videos right. And I got to do this, and I'm not doing enough.
I try to coach people. I've tried to
He
tell
does.
everybody in the world what to do. And
You're not listening to me, Chris. God damn. I'm trying here. I got ADHD.
bad. I mean, he's got it
Oh.
bad.
There's another part of this YouTube deal. John Clump and Brett Vaughn and Benny Griffin were in the pickup, all watered in there together. And we're over in Arizona in the Palin Seals. We're looking for John's son. And we run onto this gal and her, I guess it was her grandpa, maybe. Anyway, they got dogs, some blood trailing dogs, and they're out hunting. And so we ask them, have you seen any sign of this young man on horseback and blah, blah, blah. And so John can't hold himself back. He says, "Hey, this guy you're talking to right here, he's famous." Really? Who is he? He's Brett Bond, 100, born 100 years too late on YouTube. And that gal says, "I don't watch YouTube." And John starts chastising her. "Hey, you gotta watch."
He starts giving her a hard time.
Yeah, he's famous. You're missing out. You're meeting him in person. He's famous. You got to get on YouTube. And she says, "Where would I find it if I got on YouTube?"
And I'm sitting there trying to hide under the seat.
It's hilarious.
Hand me that green Kool-Aid quick.
Yeah, it
No.
was pretty good.
Edwin, I'm not going to quit hunting. Nope.
All right,
Yeah.
Dylan.
I tell you, I got to tell this story. I think I told Chris. This is embarrassing. This is really, really embarrassing for me.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
I go to town to buy some groceries. I had an idea of something I wanted to cook. So I load up in my shorts with my Crocs on, but I wear my big hat, my big palm leaf hat. And I go to Sprouts, where all the hippies hang out, the health food store. And I got my little cart, and I'm pushing it through the aisles, and I'm looking for stuff. And I hear a young pretty girl. "Brett, is it Brett Vaughn?" I turned around. Yeah, that's me. And I said, "Oh," I said, "you know my wife?" She said, No. Me and my boyfriend watch your videos." I said, "Oh man, of all places to meet someone who watches my videos in Sprouts." It was terribly embarrassing. She was a nice
There
girl.
you go. Got a fan.
Got a
Called you out.
fan right there.
She didn't look like nobody that would watch your video either, like a houndsman, huh?
No, houndsmen don't care.
Oh, there's another. That's a big rabbit hole.
They watch their own They watch their own videos. They don't want to watch mine.
Yep. Well, Dylan, we appreciate you taking your time coming on.
Dylan, thanks. We're gonna have to kick you off. Can you jump off now?
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping
We will
in.
talk to you next
Get us
Monday.
some pictures. Onward
Yep.
and upward, buddy.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Oh, God,
Look
no.
at this guy.
Take him off.
You know
Take him
what?
off. Where did his beard go?
It
Look
fell
at him.
off.
Hey, you got a filter? Put a filter on this guy.
He needs something, don't he?
Hey, I'll loan him my Lorax.
I know.
Casey wore it off of me.
I heard the story today. I talked to Casey. He told me the story. But
Yeah.
we want you to tell the truth to everybody now. What happened?
Well, after everybody left Sunday, we rode up and got his dogs. We got up the next morning. I pull up to his camp, and he said, "You gonna bring some dogs?" I said, "Nope. I'm watching yours, because if I bring mine, yours are gonna turn trashy." So he said, "All right." So we made a loop around the mountain and cut a line track pretty quick and dumped the dogs out. They made about a 30-minute run, treat him in a saddle. So Casey and I started the trek. About 2 hours later, we got to the top, and the cat was gone, and so were the dogs. So it took us 20 minutes to figure out where the dogs were at, because the GPS was bouncing, and we couldn't figure it out. And then finally we heard them. They were down below us. I mean, down below us. And Casey said, "You want to go down there?" I said, "I'm following you." He said, "All right, you came to Arizona to look at a mountain line. We're going down." So 2 more hours, we make it downhill and find out we're bluffed up. And we're 160 yards from the dogs. Can't see the dogs. Don't see a cat. And he's looking for a way down, and there's not one. And so we called the dog off and sat there another, I don't know, probably an hour waiting on one of his dogs to get back. And he's like, "Well, something's wrong with her, because we found blood up on a rock. So he said either they got the cat or something's wrong with the dog. So he was thinking he's going to have to come back in here and get her. And before we made it to the top of the mountain, the dog beat us up there. And so now this was at 8:30 that morning. We get back to the Ranger about 4:30, and both of us are give out. So we go back to camp, and we're sitting around. He said, the next day we woke up, and, we took down the tents, and he's like, "You want to go make another run in the morning?" I'm like, "Well, heck yeah, y'all can come stay at the house." So we go back to the house, which, like Chris said in one of his videos, it's about an hour and a half for us, 30 minutes for Diana. But so we get up the next morning and load up all his dogs, and he's like, "You gonna bring your dogs?" I'm like, "Yep, sure am." So I load mine up. Diana, my wife, and their grandbaby get on one Ranger, and me and Casey on the other. And we go right over the top of their house, find a lion gill, and go on up the road and let the dogs clean out, and then dumped them out. And Casey's dog started off downhill, and my puppy, he goes uphill and goes around, and my two other dogs kind of go down and come back. And I'm like, well, that's unusual. And so we catch a whiff of a skunk. Casey's like, uh-oh, this ain't good. And two of his dogs got sprayed. And I said, I told you my dogs are going to make yours trashy. So off we go. We find, I don't know how many bear tracks we ran across. And we end up splitting up from Diana and my wife. And we cut what we thought was a bobcat. And dogs run it for a while. We finally called them off and moved on up and ran another track. And we just called it after that. Then the rain set in on us, so we went and glassed for elk. But
sounds like a
anyway,
good time.
He figured out what that. He figured out what that Arizona down below us meant.
Yeah, straight down. And we went and looked at old cave, and Diana was leading us down, and she goes to step off in this cave, and there's a little rattlesnake sitting there. So we fulfilled prophecy on that one, and I go up and I'm skinning this thing, and Casey is he's having a fit. I didn't realize he didn't like snakes, but anyway, he said he was going to have to start screening his clients and folks he brings with him. He wasn't ever bringing anybody else from Louisiana. And Diana said I was real trashy because I kept getting off on every dog track and deer track we came by. So
you should have handed that snake to Diana and said, "Here, this is what we're having for dinner."
Well, she was holding it and helping me skin it. And Casey was like, "No, don't even come in the house." And then as we had done left the girls, and she had set it over on a rock, set the meat over on a rock. It was small, didn't have much on it. And we were going back, and he's like, "Well, it's about time to eat supper." And I'm like, Diana's cooking that rattlesnake tonight, don't you? He's like, don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. And I was like, no, it's still back on the rock. I see Chris sitting with us.
So what'd you think about that country up there?
It's pretty rough.
Yeah.
Where we were camped, we went up the mountain where I was parked the first day when we were waiting on the campground to open up. Where Chris and them were camped, actually. We went up that road, and that's where we struck that track. And Casey said, "That's the worst mountain out here." He said, "I don't think I've ever hunted this mountain. I don't think I'm ever going to hunt it again." So we did. We found one bear track that was smoking hot. Diana kept wanting to put it, drop the dogs on it. Casey was like, I don't really want to go up on that mountain. I said, if you don't, I dang sure don't.
That's a big mountain. Steep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds like a
Yeah.
typical lion hunt, doesn't it, Benny?
Yeah,
Henry
yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you get to see a lot of country.
Henry McIntyre had a guy that used to hunt with him and asked him, said Henry, he said, why do we always end up in this rough ass country? And Henry McIntyre said, well, that's because that's where they live, son. That's where they live.
So
Sounds about right.
tonight's theme is about social media. What about all the warriors? If you was to get on there and tell this, what kind of feedback do you guys think he?
You mean if he told that story on like Facebook?
Or yeah, or even like back in the day when you and I met because of Big Game Houndsman, and that was kind of our social media platform at that time.
Oh yeah, that's all we had.
So you know,
It doesn't matter what you post on Facebook. Just about somebody's gonna, tell you what you did wrong.
That's a fact. That's a
Well,
fact.
they can't say we looked at nothing and we harassed wildlife because we didn't see anything but deer.
well, no, but you people on there with their dogs, just like Chris was talking about earlier today. That you know, well, if you everybody knows so much. If
Oh
you
yeah.
pull your a tree, they won't tree anymore. And who comes up with these ideas? And so you guys, you must have pulled your dogs off a game before, because it's obvious you guys were in the game and nobody got any game caught and taken a picture. And it doesn't matter if you catch it or not, unless you have a picture or a piece of hide to prove it. It never really happened. I mean, I've heard all kinds of nonsense out there, and it's just ridiculous.
Yeah,
Well, those people are in it for the wrong reasons, Benny.
yeah.
I agree with you 100%. And those
Guys, I'll be
people
right back.
they haven't had the experience. They haven't put the and the time in. It's just like these knuckleheads that I didn't get on my own horses and mules for somewhere between years. And so I get on my horse out here in the yard, and everybody says, "Oh, you're going to get bucked off." Why? He was broke. He was broke to the hilt when I parked him. So he might get a little bit of rusty. Hell, I get rusty too sitting in the recliner. But if you put them away broke and you get them out of the garage, they're broke. So my mules, those same mules that I left that way, my 4 and 5 year old grandkids ride them without any gear on them, without any tack on them. They just ride them. And so, you can't pull your dogs off the tree. Well, to me, that sounds like somebody that doesn't have a handle on their dogs, because I could pull my dogs off of the tree when they were catching what they were supposed to catch. But you also, how many times have you heard, well, a dog's not worth this or a dog's not worth that? Who in the hell would give? There's not a 8 week old pup out there worth $500 or $1,000. Well, okay, well then go to the pound and get some damn dogs. I don't care. But this social media platform makes everybody a world book encyclopedia of a knowledge and experience, and they get it all sitting on their dang couch. And to
Yep.
me, it just doesn't make any sense at all, because I've been out there hunting with some of the top guys in the lion hunting world, and they still have questions, you know, but they don't go out there and tell somebody else, well, you're doing it kind of stupid. You don't know what you're doing. So I just
We
wonder, in your story right there, what kind of feedback would you get? And would it be on the full spectrum, the way the pendulum swings? You'll say, hey, well, we understand, we've been there, to, well, what do you think was wrong, to, well, it's obvious you just got your head in your rear end.
Well, that's just like I hunt a bunch of young dogs. I mean, the oldest dog I hunt is 4, and I had a comment on one of my videos that said you need to get some better quality dogs. I'm like, you can't get any better quality than these dogs. Their bloodlines are, far better than what their abilities are at this point in time. They're puppies, you
Yeah.
know.
Well, and you get those people that say a puppy ought to be, at 6 months old, it already ought to be doing this and it ought to be doing that. Well, but like Brett, I don't remember, was it Henry McIntyre, Brett, that told you that you said, what are they doing right? He says, well, they haven't done
Well,
anything wrong. And
Henry
so,
Henry offered me a dog, a white cloud walker that he had there, and it was an older dog, probably 6 months old, I guess 7 months old. And I asked him, it's stupid of me to question Henry McIntyre. It was just a dumb thing. I said, well, what's he doing? He said, well, he ain't doing nothing yet, but he's not doing anything wrong either.
well, and like Troy, Troy just pipes in there and says that there's not an 8-week-old pup that should be 1,500 plus. Well, it depends. You get those $100,000 coon hunt or $1 million coon hunter, whatever they are. Well, try to get some of those bloodlines, and all they're bred to do is hunt raccoons in a field trial. But
Just
then if you want to have top bear dogs for the area that you hunt, what are they worth? If you want to have top lion dogs, the area, it depends on the challenge. It depends on the purity of the strain of dogs and their abilities and the proven. I'm not talking about what people say, but the proven abilities. You know, guys that outfitters hunt for a living, but there's been other guys out there that hunted that weren't outfitters. Well, in fact, that's how I got red flagged. I shouldn't be successful because I wasn't a guide or an outfitter. But you get these people that are hardcore focused, and it's no different than a racehorse or a Hereford bull or anything else. If you're gonna excel to the top of the game that you're involved in, no matter what it is, bird dogs, anything, if you don't spend the money and go to the top of the market, all you're going to do is spin your wheels in the mud for a long, long time. And that doesn't mean you won't be successful, but you're shortening the curve. You don't have to spend all that time if you just go search out the dogs that you want for the country that you're going to hunt. It's just like you're talking about your dogs and the quality of dogs they are for for hunting bears. You can find people that are known. Well, look at our African buddy Cody. What are his bobcat pups?
Oh, I don't know. They're
well, like take that $17,000 dog. How old was that dog? 7 years old, right?
I,
The one they just sold at that
yeah, six,
auction.
7 years old. No, I don't even
You know,
think he's that old.
I
A
thought he was 7.
$17,500 dog. I own his half brother.
You know,
so
that guy,
yeah,
it's 7-year-old dog at 17,000. That's 84 months, $200 a month. Like you take a bird dog, and I've sold Labradors for $4,000 at 6 months old because they could sit, they crawl with you, they fetch birds. There's, it's kind of crazy that the hound dogs. It's hard to get $300 for a puppy, you know. But what's the difference between a bird dog and a hound dog?
Well, birds
Nothing.
hunt birds, and hounds are usually trail hounds, and they scent and trail
Damn
game.
it,
well,
I've been
one
confused.
I just love you
one
asked the question. I'm trying to help you out a little
Yeah,
bit here.
I've never known of a bird dog that got killed hunting what they're bred to hunt.
Yeah.
There's some pretty mean quail out there.
Well, I've heard of some getting shot.
Yeah, they
I
get
was
shot.
Oh, here we go again. I'm gonna. How did we get off on this when we're talking about social media?
Well, he's talking about keyboard warriors actually, and then we went into people saying, you know, talking
that
crap about dogs and what Benny had asked why. What would they say about his story? There's always someone that says something about a story.
Oh
I
yeah.
mean, go on Hunt, Arizona, and it's just ridiculous. You know, state Hunt 48 or state 48. There's always someone that has to just make that remark. You know, and a big example of that is the OTC deer hunt in Arizona. Those hunters make each other look just ridiculous. I mean, it's just ammo for anybody. It's ammo for the bear hunters, deer hunter, elk hunters, because they have everybody has an opinion, of course. And there's people out there who don't need to have a 200-inch buck or a 140-inch coos deer. Like, they don't need that. They go out there to actually fill their freezer. So they'll
Oh,
shoot
so
a two
people are going to
point.
criticize them for shooting too small a
Oh,
buck.
to me, though,
Let that baby grow up.
yeah, let it grow up. But, you know, and they did a study. I think it was Colorado or Utah, some of those states that saying,
Criticize-
oh, we got to put a limit on the 3 point or more. But they said it didn't help nothing. You know, doing that limit, and then you get people on there, and now it's a big deal because now there's a quota, and now everybody's going out there and they know it's going to close down. Unit 1, again, Unit 1, it's a big unit. They shut the bear down for the whole year. 15, 16 sows in 2-3 days. What does that mean? Does that mean there's more sows? But everybody's complaining. Everybody's all over the houndsmen. You know, the houndsmen are all over the spot and stalkers. Like, same with the OTC deer hunt. It's just, oh my God, there's a quota. There's only 35 deer here. I think they
So
killed 65 deer in a week
so
because everybody's getting their deer before it closes down.
so do you think social media has made our differences worse
I,
and caused more uh,
oh,
fighting between, you know,
absolutely.
I
Yep.
absolutely believe so. Same thing with the camera deal. Over 50% of the emails that said get rid of the cameras were hunters, not anti hunters, not ranchers, not just a normal Joe Blow. It was hunters, you know. Like I said, if you went back to primitive hunting, get rid of the crossbows, get rid of the scopes, go back to black powder, go back to no cameras, go back to, you know, a recurver longbow, you definitely have better
spear, a
hunters.
spear.
A spear. You know, you're shooting bears, you're shooting deer, you're shooting this stuff at 1,500 yards. So stay off my ass about me using my hounds, because when I'm using my hounds, and this goes back to the social media, because all they want to do is complain on social media, and then everybody sees that. Everybody can see that.
So
So
do you
don't give
think?
me.
I mean, what about making your groups private on Facebook? Like, I'm part of a private group on Facebook, and I tell you what, if they catch you
I feel
sharing
the same.
anything off that group to another group, they kick you out. I mean, you're gone. It's just the way it is.
They should, but there's still going to be your infiltrators. I got Arizona Houndsman. It's private,
That guy
you know,
runs
and
it tight. I know. I mean, it's a private group. I guarantee
yeah.
you, it's tight, tight, tight.
But so I'm telling you, I have profiles. I have profiles that I use for my private investigator thing. You know, and they're not. I have thousands of friends on them.
Well, and
So there,
also in this group, you have to be recommended by somebody else. You can't just
mhm,
you can't just you know join the group
ad.
and then they check you out or whatever. You have to be recommended by somebody else. And this
Yep.
group evolved from the old bulletin board days, and I was on their bulletin board years ago. Years ago. Jeez, what is the 90s?
Yeah. I
Wow.
100% guarantee would bet you anything of mine against yours that there's somebody on that private group even that's part of the other side. I guarantee
there's
it.
there's not that many people in it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not a very big group at all. There's
Mhm.
probably, I bet there's only 15 people that post. And
How many people's in the group?
if you don't post and you don't participate, they kick you off. So there might be 20 people in the group. I mean, it's a small group. I'm telling
Yeah,
you. I mean, and it's different. And the guy who runs it man, he runs a tight ship, and there's no
that's
and
good.
and he's in a similar business to what you do too, Chris. I mean,
Nice.
he's
Like when I
he's
get
a
people
bail
that
bondsman is what he is. He goes and click.
those guys. Oh, one of those guys.
Yeah, I mean but he's got a history. It's pretty cool.
Oh, your bail bondsmen usually have a history.
Well, he's from New York.
Well,
So.
let me give you. I think I told you guys the story of someone called me on my cell phone and wanted to buy a pup or a started dog and blah blah blah, and they said that they had 5 lion kittens that they were eating them out of house and home, and he wanted to get rid of some lion kittens, and you know my red flags go up pretty regular. Got a real slick greased up red flag pole to fly those things. So this guy, he keeps on and on, and he tells me he's from Goodyear, Arizona, and he's been in trouble with the game and fish. Like that's supposed to make me feel, oh yeah, well then you got to be a good guy. You know, people
Is his
get,
name Chris?
and so this deal
Shave my
goes on
beard.
and on, and he offers me some lion kittens and said that they'd be good trainers for my dogs, and I said, you know, not gonna happen. But I'd have to go to Arizona to get them. Ooh. Now we're talking about crossing state lines with protected wildlife. Now that ramps up the problem. It's a felony. So anyway, this guy, he's been with Clump. He's been with Larry Hendricks. Been with Jeff Allen. He called a judge in Tucumcari and mentioned my name, and the deal goes on and on and on. And so then I get a phone call from a young man in the Guadalupe Mountains over here, and he says, "Hey, this guy was recommended to me to come over here and go hunting with me, and he brought some dogs and pretty good deal. He's catching some lions, and I asked him if he knew you or ever heard of you, and he said no." I said, "Well, that doesn't mean anything. I'm nobody." And he said, "Well, his name's Tim Rollins, and I've seen people in your comments here say you should go interview Tim Rollins." So Tim Rollins, I've done my homework. He's undercover for U.S. Fish and Wildlife Services.
You're pretty sure of that?
I'm absolutely 100% positive. And so Tim Rollins went through all this trouble and followed me in and reached into the group that I'm in, and same song and dance. And then when he comes over here and he's just 100 miles from me in the Guadalupes, he's never heard from me, never heard of me. Now, I've never heard of that guy. And I
Chris just
told
put
him,
his hair in his ear.
but anyway, this stuff takes
Beard's
place.
too long.
He, the social media brings all of us out in the open, and we're no longer just with our little group of people in our neck of the woods. You know, this program reaches the whole nation and beyond, and so it just depends on the people that are out there in this social media field, what they're looking for, what they hope to gain, and um, I don't have all the knowledge out there. I absolutely don't have half of the knowledge out there I wish I had, but I've got more than one or two guys. But that doesn't mean that I won't come under fire for thinking what I think and how I think it. And I have been one of those guys that sold 5-week-old pups for $1,000. And if they didn't want to buy a pup, they could pound sand on it and give a rat's ass. I'll hunt it myself. So, you know, what does social media do over? I know for me, it's caused a lot of fighting and it's caused a lot of headache because the game and fish found me an easier target through social media, which I haven't ever done anything wrong. They haven't ever said, been able to, everything was alleged.
Clean as the wind-driven snow.
Oh, man, right?
I don't know. I do my thing. I was going to ask Chris. Chris, I mean, you're involved in the podcast world, right?
Kinda.
What do
I
you mean,
try to be.
kinda? Do you put podcasts online?
I do.
What? How do they? I don't know anything about podcasts. I make content for a podcast. I mean, and I've shared a lot of my content for a podcast, but I don't know about. I turn them out, and I have no idea how they do. This last week, I posted. I did a little flex. I posted my analytics on my YouTube, and
Hmm.
I got to thinking about the podcast. How do you guys keep track of your success, or how many people you're reaching, or anything like that? So, like, if you were going to go and approach a sponsor, how do you approach them? Say, well, I got this podcast and it's got so many, is it followers or downloads
It
or?
shows you downloads and followers. It does. I'm still kind of learning it because it's sort of like YouTube, but I don't think it's as it's not as
Oh,
algorithmic. I'd want to say
YouTube
as
is
YouTube.
extensive
It's
analytics.
I don't know if they read every word. Uh, trying to pull up. I'm gonna try to pull it up. I don't know if I put in the right password here, but it does show you the. Trying to pull it up so I can. There it goes. So when you do go to analytics, let me see here. And it tells you, like, I've had how many. It tells you the downloads. It tells you like your subscribers. Tells you which video. How many downloads per, and I think it tells you. Damn, people in Belgium, Germany listen to our
It tells you a
podcast.
demographic of where the geographic.
Yeah, show all locations. I mean, it does show you how many, just like YouTube, you know, uh, Moscow, some downloads there, Chicago, Las Vegas. Like if you get to download in a city, it will show you. It's not as extensive as YouTube. I tell you that you
I'll
can't
show you.
just click on downloads time. It tells you what time they download. It tells you the devices, PC, mobile, or it says speaker. Mac OS, Android, iOS, or Windows. I get a lot of Android and a lot of Mac OS. Mac. Alexa, I have, 44% of is on that Mac. Client apps, Apple Podcasts, 43%. Google Chrome, Spotify, 8%. Oh, there's another, Spotify cache service. Facebook, 5%. Googlebot, Samsung Podcast. Like it tells you all the percentage. So
Uh,
anybody who does it, you have a somewhat of it. Last 24 hours, last 30 days, all time, last month.
Jeremy, Do you dig into your I know you make YouTube videos. Do you dig into your analytics much?
I try not to, but I do look at them. It drives me crazy trying to
You're
figure
about to.
them out.
Let me give
Yeah,
you a
you've
little.
got to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Let me give you a little. If you go to YouTube Studio and you go to the analytics and then you go to the advanced tab, I mean, very first thing you have content, traffic source, geography, cities, viewer age, viewer gender, date, revenue source. And then if you go to more, you got subscription status, subscription source, content type, playlist, podcast, device type, ad type, transition type, YouTube product, it goes on. And that's not even the end of it. If you go into the other metrics, you have watch time, views, average view duration, average percentage viewed, subscribers, videos added, videos published, impressions, impression click-through rate, show and feed, viewed, unique viewers, average views per viewer, new viewers, returning viewers, estimated revenue. I mean, it goes on and on. And not only that, but you can create groups. So if you make several different kinds of videos, Benny's going to sleep. you can
He's
you can
he's
Fair,
showing his
fair enough.
he's showing his cape off.
But anyway, I just wonder. I don't know anything about podcasts. One of these days, I'd like to see how the content that we share on our podcast, how it does. Because I mean, I got this channel and then the Born 100 channel, and I keep track of my analytics, so I know how to correct what I'm doing. I mean, if I'm doing something that's wrong, then I've been taught how to look at them to course correct.
I don't know if
I guess.
I don't know if you can correct it. Like I don't know there's much you can do on podcasts. If people listen to the content, they listen to it.
Well, it could be packaging. You know how you package it.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you can also see when they start falling off, and the highlights of it and all that. It breaks it down.
and yeah, by identifying patterns, patterns in your content. Say like every time Benny picks up his spear, we lose 10 viewers. So we identify that pattern and say, well, Benny's scaring these viewers. Don't pick up your spear anymore.
When Benny talked about
at once.
When Benny talked about outlaw kittens, we gained 5 undercovers. I mean viewers.
That's
Yeah,
the hooch talk.
Alleged. I don't know. I think he was talking about that hound dog media, and I think, man, there's so much drama, even in the media part of houndsmen. I mean, there's people that don't like us. We know that. Me and Brett know that.
Oh, I know. I was so shocked at the deal to find out that I was so disliked. I had no idea.
And I'm guilty by association.
It kind of hurt my feelings just a little bit.
Hey, when you're maybe more entertaining than some people, just like when you catch more stuff and some people, I mean, as representing houndsmen, you really got to put all that away, I believe, whether you like them or not.
Well, and that's it. We need to, I think everybody needs to support, all the different hound, the hound podcasts, the other W Hunting Supply podcast, the Houndsman XP podcast, Full Cry magazine. We all got to support each other, I think, because we're all in the same boat. And if that boat sinks, we all sink. So it's kind of a, I always try to call everybody out and say, support the other guys too. Everybody.
I think, by the way, we're at 11,095, but over this weekend, I got a bunch of people that have sent me some more money for the Colorado thing. But right now we're at $11,095.
So that makes it over $20,000, right?
Yeah, $21,000. That's another thing right there. We had people maybe not understand, maybe not like the situation, whatever, and back out of some of that. And you say, it's their choice.
I could almost
But
understand, though. I could understand it.
yeah,
I mean, that's what. And I tried to talk to them, but I haven't been able to get a hold of them because I wanted to know if they had the same feelings I had about that. But
yeah, and
I
and there's also probably some chitter chatter amongst other influencers to some of these people about maybe us or our what we're doing in our cause, but
you
I
think
don't
we're going to
care.
have to get rid of Benny because he brings a bad reputation to
I think so.
the
I
thing?
think it's the cape.
Whatever it is.
I
No,
think it's the mustache.
that cape was special made with love, and that little girl didn't want anything but a hug, and the cape stays. Me and the
There you
cape
go.
go down.
Well,
It's good.
yeah.
It fits.
But
You don't
I
have
still I still believe pound sand.
Well, I'm worried what anybody else thinks.
you don't
There
have one of
goes.
these. You don't have one of these.
He even, yeah.
No, but I've shot coyotes at out on the airstrip, but I've never shot them. I've never gone
Well,
hunting. Now, when I was in Phoenix, we'd go out to Litchfield Park in the wee hours of the night and go bass fishing in their ponds just because I didn't want to have to get permission to get told no during the day. But as far as hunting on the golf course, I've never done that.
next to the golf course is an airstrip. And we used to kill a ton of elk on this airstrip until the air vac took it over and occupied it. So it's kind of harder now. But
All
they'd
right.
come off that golf course, going on that airstrip, and we'd chase them over there above the airstrip. They'd run across the airstrip onto my other property over there, and then we'd go blast them over there.
Well, yeah, you got to treat that kind of varmint as a trespasser.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think there's a lot of drama in the podcast world as well as the YouTube world, and I think it's more of a competition. I think some people are in it for the money or just to be recognized. And
Hey, it's got to take, I mean, for you to continue to do it, you've got to have some money. You got to have some
you,
income.
Mhm.
I mean, not what we do here. I mean, this is just fun. I
No,
mean,
this is just for fun. But
yeah.
look at let's go back to the interview stories and tales.
Hmm.
If you did every interview, if you took the next 4 weeks and did 2 interviews a week, that's what it'd take you to probably drive to each location. You'd
Oh,
be
I
out
mean,
$5,000.
well, that was
More
what,
than it'd be more than that.
that was one of my complaints is once I got through interviewing all the guys that were fairly close to me, except for Charlie Settles, I drove to Tennessee to interview that man because he was old. And then I drove and interviewed, I can't remember the guy's name, all the way up in Idaho. And I drove all the way up there. Now those interviews are not public. I haven't shared them yet. And then I drove to Tucson and I interviewed another guy that was all these guys were all involved in this deal hunting jaguars, and I haven't made them all public yet. I haven't been able to put them all together, and I mean, then when I had the opportunity to go interview Warner Glenn, I haven't made that one public yet, and of course John
You
Clump, we stayed
beer,
with
Benny.
John, and I just thought that those would be worth something, and then I could get enough money to go to Mexico, and I'm gonna go. I got 5 more that I'm going to do, and that'll probably end my interview career right there. And unless Garmin calls me and sends me a credit card and says, "Here you go."
Yeah, yeah. And
But
that's kind of why I even started another podcast network, and it's ain't nothing big, but once we get a good sponsor, then to pay for those. I mean, And when you like doing what, and man, there's just these guys, John, just like Joe Hott, and he mentioned guys with another name that like, who's that?
These
These
guys
are,
that have been out there, like Benny was underneath a rock.
and they tell some stories. And if
Oh,
you
good
want to be
stories.
invigorated by a story, listen to an old houndsman. Even my daughter, who's trying to be a cop, was like, I'd give up being a cop to go, just to go be that guy.
She
You
just
know?
sat right and never took her eyes off of Joe the whole time.
Yep. Yep.
Those old
You
guys
know,
are
and that's worth
fascinating.
something. All these new kind of punks that are just kind of internet warriors and internet hunters, and like, they're not going to realize how
You should
important it is.
see. I got to get it put together, I guess, soon. Charlie Settles. When I went and talked to him, now I drove all the way to Tennessee, and when I pulled up, now if you would picture a guy who lived in Tennessee, and when I pulled up into his driveway, he lived in an old cabin that he had built with a great big porch, and he's sitting out there in a rocking chair. Here's an 86-year-old man sitting out there in a rocking chair whittling, just like you had envisioned, just like out of a book. This guy been to Mexico. He caught what's the place in South America where they hunt jaguars? Bolivia.
Believe,
Bolivia, is that it? He caught a jaguar in Bolivia before the Lee brothers did. He went down there in front of them and caught one. Then he helped Dale Lee in Mexico hunting jaguars. Took his running walkers down there, and caught helped catch jaguars down there. He went to Oregon, Washington, and then he trapped and run his hounds in Canada for like 10 years. That's how he made his living. I mean, this guy did it all, and just a real humble man, and had some really super stories. He's passed now, but I got to interview him before he went. But fascinating old man. But
he did go get Brett a bubbly. She did.
who did what?
Cody
That's
Lynn.
right.
Tim said, Benny, Cody Lynn did so take her eyes off Joe. She went and got Brett a bubbly.
Oh well,
And then she had to go. He had to go use the bathroom after he drank the bubbly.
Yep. And she had to go fetch Joe Hott for us.
that typically happens.
Joe Hott was so mesmerizing. We were going to throw him on. He's a little older. He didn't think, and he just kept going. We was going to have Jeremy on. We was going to have Wayne on. We was going to have everybody there on. And I tell you what, when you get a
Ran out.
hound guy talking, an old hound guy, you don't. Everybody else is nothing. You feel like you could go up and touch him and go catch a lion the next day.
And it makes you think that all the stories you've always told, they really aren't that good.
No, and he's just telling stories. You know, I got some stories where I got my mule stuck in a tree. I'm like, oh, that's kind of nothing. You know, you hear these guys talk, and it's just, and they're not even telling a story. They're just talking about something. You know, they're not trying to juice it up.
Yeah, they're just reminiscing about how their day went.
Yep, it's great. You know, and that's what social media needs to be.
Well, you don't get that on social media, Chris. I mean, stories aren't
Drop
there
the gate.
anymore.
Drop the gate. Go to the tree. That's what these kids like to do. I guess what people like to see.
Bang
But
flop. Oh
Well,
yep.
I related a story that was told to me that I have no reason to believe that it wasn't accurate because of the country and the people that told me and everything else. And I really shouldn't have told the story, but I did. And your buddy over there in Vernon immediately says, bullshit. I call bullshit.
who's
What
your
the hell?
buddy?
Chris's buddy.
Which one?
The hell over at Vernon.
Vernon.
He offered you some mules to try, Brett.
Oh, Carl.
Oh,
Doug.
Mr. Boykin. Yeah. He challenged you. He called you out on the story.
Yeah.
Now, what'd
And
you
I
say,
just-
Benny? I
don't even
missed
remember.
this.
You're
Where's it
you're
at? Is it on Facebook? I got to look it up.
you're thinking about this his other buddy Chris,
No. It's
the
Carl
other
Boykin.
Chris,
So
Chris
I
Todd.
Oh, him and Chris Todd. I thought that was fun watching on Facebook. That's one thing good social media is good for,
Oh boy.
is to watch these
Oh,
big
boy.
old
Oh yeah.
typewriter wars or whatever you call them, keyboard wars.
what the hell do you know about it? You know.
hmm
But then I looked. What do you call it when you creeping? I creeped around on his Facebook page and looked, and I thought, well, no
That's
wonder.
Facebook stalker.
Yeah, no wonder. Look at the retards and the morons that you associate with and think so much.
Yeah.
This is what social media is good for.
Hey, what do you think though? Do you think back in the old days when Warner was running around and Del Lee was running around and BJ Hands, Steve, all these old guys? What do you think the drama was like at the coffee shop? Oh, look
Nothing
who
like
walked
it.
in!
It's completely different
look
when
who
it's face
walked
to
in.
face.
Oh,
Well, there
no,
wasn't any.
because there was a time when I was a kid, Brett was a kid, that you didn't start that kind of drama unless you were ready to back it up with busted teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Somebody
folks
walk up to you and
respected
say,
each
"Oh,
other
bullshit, that
also.
ain't true." Are you calling me
Well,
a liar?
Well, there was back talk. They were talking behind people's back, but once they heard it, there wasn't just a post that said, "Oh, that guy in Vernon's a dummy." They went to the coffee shop probably that he knew he was drinking coffee at, and whether there was he went there to be seen and seen if, and then that's when it all started. And you're right. And then those guys probably ended up hunting together later on in life.
In back the big game houndsman days, that's exactly what I told Dennis. I said, "You don't know me, Dennis. And I don't care. You can take all of the jujitsu and the hocus pocus and all the shit classes you want. But what the hell was it, that little town in Utah?" I said, "That's not a very big town. And if I walk into the coffee shop, I'll drive all the way over there. And if I walk into the coffee shop, I'm not going to introduce myself. I'm going to stomp the shit out of you in that booth. And then I'll get back in my pickup and go home." And that's behind us. And so that's how come these keyboard warriors are like they are.
I would have paid for the coffee.
What was the guy? Hound Dog. That gave. That guy just absolutely gave Dennis.
He went by
hounding him. It was funny reading. It was hilarious.
Who was that guy?
I don't know who.
He was a nice guy. I talked to him on the phone one time.
He was
a nice guy. Hounding him. I thought it was Hound Dog.
No, Hound Dog was that guy. Oh hell, I don't remember his name. I used to know all those guys by name, but anyway, I just know that there was a time, and that's what I told him. I said, "You don't know me, and I believe in the old ways, and your little town in Utah is not that far away, and I don't have a problem getting in my pickup and buying the diesel fuel and just going to the coffee shop."
Yeah.
What the hell? Roosevelt, Utah. That's where he's at.
Big Game Houndsman's still going too.
Oh yeah, I'm on it right now,
buddy. And I was a cool place. I just go check out pictures.
Let me hold on.
I just haven't been there. Benny,
what'd you go by on that?
Benny G.
Benny G. I'm gonna look this up.
Is that
kind of like Kenny G? Yeah. He used to sing. I don't even remember what my sign in is.
Holy moly. Let's see. Hey, you posted on it in 2020.
Did I? What did I say?
POS Ranchers. Perhaps we should start a thread titled POS Wannabe Lion Hunters. You haven't changed much, Benny.
No.
The challenge is to catch a live lion. Heck, any dog can catch a dead one.
If everybody wants to be a jackass, I'll just jump in and jackass right back. But I jackass and I leave a trail of blood every chance I get so they don't jackass me.
I think we
No,
need to
you
make.
got Benny. You've missed your calling. You should have wrote a book or something. Here's You want me to read this one? Dad
I
gum. I
can't
love my
even
sister, but I
remember.
sure don't have any plans of laying around and smooching on her. The more time you spend hunting lions on bare ground, the more you will learn that the only consistency is it's a challenge. Keep at it, and those pot lickers will have no choice but to get better. Oh man, Benny. That was in 2014.
That was more than 3 moons back.
Man, I don't even know my password to log in. We need to make Big Game Houndsman. You're welcome, buddy. Famous again. I think people need to get on there and post, hey, Monday Night Live, we survived Monday Night Live. I think that's what people need to do. They need to go to Big Game Houndsman and post, I survived Monday Night Live.
Look at this. From August 7th, 2014. This is, I guess I did a video interview with somebody. That was a nice video, Brett.
I don't
All
even.
of the old timers and sure enough, real deals that aren't looking for notoriety and fame. All hunt lions for the same reason, the dogs. It's rare in today's hound environment to find a young hunter that isn't making it about the dead lion. Man, Benny, you are consistent.
Look at you.
I didn't even know. I wonder what video I made back
Let
then.
we
It
need
had
to
to be down there at Sanderson that had cancer.
That old man, that was a heartbreaker.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name now.
maybe we should have a segment on the show and take 10 minutes just to read all of Benny G.
Well, you need to go to the coffee shop because that's where the fun
on
was real.
Big Game Houndsman.
Let me see here. I can go to the coffee shop. Site news, no, members only forum. Uh-oh. They probably got rid of the coffee shop just because of you, Benny.
I don't remember my login or my password on there.
It's still up. I mean, they're still
They're still posting.
a post September 1st, 2024. That was yesterday.
I just seen that. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't me.
Law Dog Harris.
Look at you go.
His thumbs are kicking up. That's all you got to do.
On an
Hey,
iPhone.
Chris,
People talking about dog food and dang, this brings back memories.
I think we just have so much other TikTok and reels, and nobody, I guess, wants to take the time to get on there and actually use their brains and ask a
well,
question.
nobody can top Calvin's video. That's what the problem is.
The lion and the bear in the tree.
Yeah.
No, let's see. No. How old? I wish you could sort them by. I guess you can right there.
Talking about rabbit holes.
Oh, this is interesting. History.
You know, this is how I came to know Mike Leonard.
Yep.
This is how I know Brett Vaughn. Missy, now her name is Hale. There was a bunch of people that I got to know because of Big Game Houndsman. But that's also when I came out from underneath a rock and a lot of my headaches started.
Man, I couldn't even tell you. I'd have to start a whole new account because I haven't logged in for so. I don't even think I have the email.
First time I posted there, I've had 5 replies. I have a hound. I don't even remember this hound. It was 2008. I have a hound that has a G and a W freeze branded on his ears.
Madison.
They told me
Madison's
came from
late.
him. I believe he was raised. Oh, by Van Johnson. Not real sure. Oh, that was old Bo. He came from Garner Weiss. Huh.
That was a David Heiss hookup.
Yeah, the guy had them down there. I bought him down there by in Texas.
But I think wasn't Garner in Colorado?
I think so. I think he was friends with Van Johnson real good.
Yeah.
Jeez. I was pretty smart back then. I have a lot of opinions on here. They're probably stupid now.
Maybe we could get Buddy to start a Monday Night Live thread and see how many people can go on there and talk the most crap. Lost and Stolen Dogs, February 20 of 2021.
Just point amongst us. Somebody's got to get hit.
Yeah. I don't know. I think the day of threads is kind of gone. Facebook, everybody goes to the groups, but I kind of like the Big Game Houndsman.
It was fun.
It's crazy. Crazy to look
Why did
back.
it?
2008.
You think people are too lazy to read? That's why, they type and they do.
They can't type anymore.
That was one of the aggravating things about Big Game Houndsman. That's why I quit getting on those threads so much and spend all my time in the coffee shop goofing off, because you get these people that come in there and ask the same question that's been asked 385 times. Well, why don't you read this other stuff out here? Well, I just want to know right now. Well, pound sand then. I'm going to go to the coffee shop. Rough.
That's interesting. That's history right there, though, really.
I think Mike Leonard still, when I looked on there a while back, I think Mike Leonard still gets on there trying to help people.
I think the reason, too, it's not, I don't think it's super phone friendly. I don't think it's super phone friendly.
Yeah, I did it on my computer back in the day.
Yeah. Were you on there at all, Jeremy?
I looked at some of the threads back years ago, but no, I wasn't on there.
Yeah.
I don't fit in.
Coon hunter.
Porky right here.
I murdered some dove this weekend. That's all I can say.
There was all
dove
different threads. There was squirrel hunters and jag terriers. There was all kinds of different stuff. And it just depended on what you were interested in, what thread you went.
Yeah.
And when Dennis was on there as Ike, a lot of people came on there just to watch me and Hound and them fight with Dennis.
Rockin' Red Ike.
Texas. I remember that, Tim.
Was he a buddy of yours? Other than that, I think I don't even know. I don't even know if podcasts. I listen to them a lot, but I hear a lot of people that don't listen to podcasts. There's so much information on podcasts, especially when you're driving 22 hours, huh? Oh, tell us about your trip. You had to. Wayne Bisbee lost his studs on one of his tires and had to take a stud off, put it on another across from each other, and limp into town, is what he said. So he had some car trouble too.
If you looked at Wayne Bisbee's truck, you thought that the Clampetts were moving back into town. They have everything on that truck because they were moving from Washington to Montana.
Mm-hmm.
It was piled up, and that whole family.
Yeah. Nice. They were nice people too.
Oh yeah.
They didn't try to beat me up isn't that Madison, Little Houndsman?
Yeah, Madison. She's on there. She ended up with a pup, and they gave me a cape that doesn't fit around my fat neck, but it does look really nice in my window. Look at that.
Brett said you had to have a neck for it to fit on.
He's going to start doing Pilates.
Mm-hmm. Hey, look, he laughed. They looked exactly the same just now.
There you go.
I like to listen to these podcasts. You know, I had someone tell us the only reason they listen to one of the platforms is because we're on it. They only listen to ours.
Well,
I said, well, heck, go to the Chris Watson Project, and I put all of them on there. I've been trying
What's
to.
that's your podcast?
Yeah. Well, I got two. You can look up Freecasting, but the
You
Chris
got
Watson
2
Project.
podcasts
Well,
platforms?
yeah. I just put Freecasting on one, but when I start
Don't
doing
act
like
surprised, Brett.
You would, Chris.
Hmm.
What? Why don't
I
you
was just
focus? Just focus.
I was just trying to. I did. I put all of my Freecasting ones here.
They make me for these.
And when I start my private investigator podcast, I'm gonna put all those on my Chris Watson Project too, with everything.
What about
And if
some of these
anybody wants
interview
to put a
stories and
podcast
tales?
on,
What
that's
about
going to
some
go
of
on my Chris Watson Project.
They don't go
Or-
on that on your free casting? The interview stories and tales don't?
No, I goes on my. I don't know if I've made any of those yet. I have to download them off of yours.
Oh.
I think we just decided.
I thought we were in partners. I'm going to have to talk to my people. Do you guys prefer the Sportsman's Network or Outdoor Channel?
I don't want. Is that TV?
Television.
Oh yeah, I don't watch that.
Okay.
Does anybody? It's just so expensive to have cable.
Well, it takes 3 days to pump in sunlight where I live, so. Takes 4 for Casey and Diana.
Oh boy. Unless Diana's driving the sunlight.
Hey,
so next year, I told Diana, I think she's working on it. I said I want that place from Thursday to Thursday, so we can roll in Thursday, get set up, have some horseshoe competition, some auction on Friday, and then eat dinner Saturday. And then Sunday we sit around and tell each other a bunch of lies, and I make some dirty tacos. And then you can hunt. If you want to stay and hunt, you stay and hunt. So I'm planning on being there next year, same time, August 22nd, whatever that weekend is, and hunting the whole week.
Yeah.
I'm going to plan it.
They shut down the bear quota over here in New Mexico, so I'm going to go over there early and help shut down the bear quota there.
That's what Arizona did. They went over and paid you guys back.
I'm going to go over there and kill some babies.
That's what I would do. That's what New Mexicans did over here.
You better
New
get
Mexican. I'm going to pay you guys back.
Well, we're just paying you guys back first.
But your season opens first.
Yeah, exactly. So you guys came over and killed all of our crap.
That's what I mean.
Paid you back.
And so next year it's going to happen again, just because you did that.
Hey, Brett.
Of social media.
To what?
It's a perfect right now. The two of you going back and forth, bickering and badgering.
Well, they did it. I was even contemplating. I said, man, I might go see if I can just tree a bear. I've never killed a bear, and I thought, well, if I could catch a big enough bear, I'd love to have a rug to go on the back of my couch. Mm-hmm. And I thought I told you that too, didn't I, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
And then these bunch of yahoos from Arizona come over here and filled our quotas. Man, it's on now. It's on. I'm going to bring my friends.
It was already on. Your friend's already been over here the month before.
Well, it's going to happen again. It's going to happen faster and worse.
I seen some of them New Mexican bears they killed, or from New Mexico kill Arizona bears. I think they were like 80 pounders.
We're not picky over here.
No, obviously not.
If you just look at the size of our governor, we think those bears are huge.
Jeremy, what were you saying? You and your soft southern draw takes too long to get the words out.
I said you better get in shape if you're going next year.
Why's that? Oh,
Your country's flat compared to his.
no, it's not where I was. I promise you that.
Get back to the
West,
dog pedigrees and stories of hunts. Keep folks updated on the anti-horse crap. It's supposed to
Who
be
is
oh,
that?
hound
okay.
crap.
Who
The
said
horse
that?
crap.
Where's
Gene
that
Morris.
one? Who said it?
How long have you been on this podcast? You know we don't talk about the same thing. If you want to just listen
Hey,
to
go
boring
over and listen to
podcasts,
the Houndsman XP. That's what they always listen. They talk about is they're probably
one
more
thing,
legally minded than we are.
yeah, yeah. You don't
But
hear them talking about no 22 magnums.
he's not a.
Anti-horse. Who's talking about
I
anti-horse?
think he's hound. I think it's supposed to be anti-hound. There is no
No.
update.
Yeah.
November 5th will be an update, and they're getting all their stuff together in Colorado. And go to CRWM on Instagram, and they post everything. C.R.W.M.M.I.S.S.I.I. What is it? Mississippi.
Capital M-I-S-I-S guy.
Come on, Gene. You know we don't talk about. We're rabbit holers.
This is
Let's call this
just
show the rabbit hole.
this is
Yeah,
you
hey,
want to pay us? Do you want to send us some money and we'll talk about what you want to talk about? But right now we're just sitting around a campfire talking.
we're 50. We got beagles. We can justify.
Who would jump into a conversation around a campfire and say, "Hey guys, you quit talking about that stuff. Let's talk about this."
Well, I would. Certainly would.
Yeah. He's right. He would.
Benny would, yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny. God, since we've been criticized, should we leave?
I don't know.
Do you live in the? Do you live in the swamp?
I'm surrounded by a soybean field.
Dang.
You need to, Jeremy, if you get a chance, go over there and look at that country over there from Hillsboro back to the. I hunted that for 10 years, and the one thing you do learn about country like that, and I'm sure where you were is just like that country. The one thing you do learn, and I'm sure Casey knows this, you learn places you don't want to go into. You want to stay out of.
But that's where they live.
That's where they live, yeah. But
No,
every now
Tim
and then
Brink.
they venture out of there and they give us a little chance.
Tim Brink called it.
On the way out, I told him, I said, "Don't worry about me. I'll be to the buggy when I get there."
Hey, what'd you take? Did you even have any water? Took like 2 bottles of water.
Dude,
You got to drink 3 gallons the day before to go do that stuff. Yeah. 4 gallons.
Get hydrated.
Hey, Tim says, sounds like something an undercover guy would do. Gene Morris. I think he's talking about Gene Morris.
I don't worry about those undercover guys.
Now, we had a couple of them at the Hound Rendezvous.
I know one of them was. Actually, wasn't there two of those guys with the black beards, or just one?
I don't know. Well, there's one. Yeah, Jeremy got that right. There's that one. I seen. That's why he had to leave that night. He had to stay just long enough. How was that trip home, Benny? In the dark with no jacket.
he was singing. He didn't. It didn't bother him. I think he was warm enough.
I know that getting over there took me an hour and a half, and I figured that was long enough to have my new engine broke in a little bit, and so I stomped on it, and I got back in an hour and 10 minutes.
There you go. That's a long road down to that Hound Rendezvous.
It is.
I didn't
Kinda
realize
remote.
miles on south of Young.
I didn't know it was
today.
that far either.
Yeah, Young's no big deal, but then I kept looking at my phone and it said, "Just keep going, just keep going." I thought, what the heck? And then next thing I knew, it was past my bedtime, and I better hurry up so that my coach didn't turn into a pumpkin.
Yep. Undercover at the Hoot. 50 years of hounds. Where at, Gene? Where'd you run hounds at?
What does he mean? I'm gonna wonder what he means.
Well, Tim Brink says sounds like something an undercover guy would do.
You can't be undercover and be a houndsman too, can you?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. There's some. And there's some that aren't undercover, but they're just snitches.
Yeah.
Guys, everybody's leaving. Benny made them all mad. I'm gonna
Yeah, I
have to.
think so.
I got a con or I got to go
Missouri.
somewhere.
It's from Missouri.
Missouri.
What do they hunt over in Missouri?
Coon.
That's about it. What else they got? They hunt bear. Can you hunt bear in Missouri?
Coon and deer, turkeys.
I don't know if they, but they do. They got deer dogs over there.
And everybody is leaving. We must have made everybody mad.
It's Benny.
We was just kidding, guys.
What
We make fun of
what
everybody.
did I say this time?
You raised your voice. They all went over to the Safe Place podcast or live or something. I don't know.
I don't. It's just the way it is.
I know you did say something about Houndsman XP.
No, they should listen to him. I think everybody should. I think everybody should support all of us. I think that's a good thing. But just support us
Bobcats,
us more than they support other people.
Well, when you look at the numbers, and this is why I don't understand why it's such a big deal, but you look at the numbers, you just posted the numbers, like 7 million views.
Yeah, I had on my Born 100, I have 7 million views, and more than half of those came in the last year since.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, the problem is with what I do on YouTube is
they all went to Big Game Houndsman.
yeah, that's probably where they went.
Hey, maybe we'll just call this Big Game Houndsman live and see how many people would get over here.
The Big Game Houndsman Annex.
Mm-hmm. The coffee shop. Maybe we call it the coffee shop. That way we can just talk crap.
Coffee shop. Remember sourdough?
Right.
Yeah, sourdough. All those guys.
Mm-hmm.
Sourdough didn't own a television back then. His computer was his entertainment, and that's why he was so good. And he photoshopped everything. Like when me and Mike Leonard and Missy and Cole Studdard were out there, we went out there to. I gave Mike an antelope tag, and when Mike shot an antelope, I pulled his back legs open and pointed down to make sure it was a buck. And sourdough he copied that deal over and over and made like a whole truckload of nuts on that buck so that it was a real trophy keeper. That's the kind of stuff sourdough did in the coffee shop.
I hate when people Photoshop me with a 22 Magnum and a deer in front of it.
With a spotlight.
You didn't mind your soap picture too bad.
No. I still got it too. It's on my phone. My soap picture. My bear soap picture you have.
Guys, I hate to shut it down.
Yeah, it's been 2 hours and
I know. I got it.
You're an hour later too.
I got a important meeting I got to go to.
All right.
He's at the Game and Fish Commission.
Us undercover guys got to get together every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Look at his work.
They broke me.
Oh, there we go. Throw him up there. You got to kind of like.
You got to get it full. Go get back closer to your face.
Yeah, no, pull it back. There you go.
at that.
Oh, simultaneous. There we go.
There you
Oh my God. All right, guys. Thank you. Sorry about the rabbit hole, but tonight was
Hey.
just talking anyway. So
Yeah.
It does-
it
We'll
wasn't.
be
Everybody's
back.
a campfire. If they haven't been to a campfire, they don't know what they're missing anyway.
Yeah, especially when Benny's on the butterscotch moonshine.
No, that was mule urine.
All right, guys. Thanks for coming by. Thanks, everybody, for watching. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks,
Jeremy,
Brad.
thanks for dropping in. Appreciate it. Go over to
Anytime.
Jeremy's channel. It's Louisiana Hunting.
Hey, look at that
Got a video
rattlesnake you
tomorrow
just killed.
night.
Do what?
Ridiculous. What?
Got a video tomorrow night.
He's got the video. Is it the Arizona hunting video? Woo! That's a goodie, guys. Go over and watch it.
Yep.
All right, guys.
All right.
We'll see y'all
See-
later.
Hasta luego.
Bye, Ben. Ben.
Bye.
Bunch of
Benji.
brainwashed idiots.